Hello. I've been known by many names. I'm still the same person, but I've been known as Reverend MeeLing, Reverend Susan MeeLing, Lady Dori, Belle, a few other names. So I'm going to go over the first full portion in completion of the first aspect of my Medal of Honor art project in regards to the first portions of the first process being completed in the state of Texas. There's a few other aspects that I need to complete once the encasement occurs, but there are a few other aspects that are involved with my Medal of Honor art project. It's not just the historical and spiritual rubbings of the marker themselves. It's not just the artwork. It's not just the portions of the commendations. It's not just the quotes. It's not just the encasement of the individual pieces. There is an extremely multifaceted aspect to each and every individual piece, and once those individual pieces are fully completed, then they are taken where they need to be taken and delivered where they needed to be delivered to. And so I've been extremely particular when it comes to my Medal of Honor art project and not allowing anybody to be specifically involved with the historical rubbing or historical and spiritual rubbings of the markers for a multitude of aspects. Same thing when it comes to the artwork portion, as well as the commendation aspects, the quotes or the prayers, depending on what the marker has as far as a symbol. The encasing is realistically the only portion where I have allowed others to be involved, and it is only for the encasing and nothing more. And then the delivery aspect is after the last portions of what I do in regards to the after it's encased in glass. So I've been very particular in all of those aspects to not let just anybody get involved, because it is extremely, what is the word? It's extremely important that it's done a specific way. Otherwise, all sorts of problems can occur in a biblical sort of way. So it's very important as to why I have done things the way I've done them. I know that it's a little bit weird as far as my Medal of Honor art project stuff. However, the next particular video is going to be actually showing the individual pieces. I just wanted to give that clarification aspect, because just because you may have seen my Medal of Honor art project, maybe you have certain aspects of training, but not necessarily all, it is very dangerous depending on what you understand, because if you only know certain things, you don't understand, and without the knowledge and the understanding, you cannot fully comprehend. And so I have comprehended the necessity for me to personally do things in the manner that I have, and that is a whole other ball of wax if in the hypothetical situation anybody thought that they could do what I do, because it is not the same. Each individual piece is exactly that, individual, and each individual piece is done differently, even though some of the motions might look similar, they might look alike, they are not. And so to attempt to do the exact same thing for each individual historical and spiritual rubbing of each individual Medal of Honor recipient marker is extremely important to pay attention to the details of not just the paper, not just the charcoal, not just that, not even just the way the spray is done, to make sure each individual piece is done correctly. And then, the artwork is done differently for each individual piece. Each individual's commendation is obviously different because they did different things to earn their Medal of Honor, which goes back to that portion of each individual historical and spiritual rubbing being done a specific way. And if you do not know what you are doing, you do not understand what is necessary, and you do not comprehend what is needed at those individual times. So then there's the rest of the process, which is extremely important after the initial rubbings, because all of those individual aspects are so pertinent to the safety and well-being of so many things. And while certain individuals I've known over the years have not necessarily believed in certain religious and or spiritual aspects, I've given many warnings over the years, including the fact that the way I was raised when growing up in New Jersey after I was born, my biological parents would not allow me to watch certain ratings of movies until I was a certain age. And then when I was old enough to watch any movie I wanted, I decided I wanted to see, something documentary-ish, but something, real. And so the first movie I chose to watch was the documentary version of The Exorcist. And I got to actually watch and listen to that, and it's one of those, I know that stuff is real. I didn't even need the documentary aspect. I grew up going to Old Tennant Presbyterian Church. That's a square-mile cemetery. I've grown up seeing some things. And then not forgetting the fact that the church of Old Tennant Presbyterian Church was used as a hospital during the Revolutionary War. I've seen quite a few things after Old Tennant Presbyterian Church's pastor at the time, Hugh Mackenzie, agreed with the rest of the congregation to remove the original pastor's coffin out of the center aisle of the church. And then I also saw the ramifications from that. So watching the documentary of The Exorcist in that regard, yeah, I knew that was real, and I knew that was factual. And I could see how certain aspects, you just don't play with that. So that's a really good example as to why you don't do certain things in regards to if you're not trained. I am. I've actually grown up with various aspects of the training. I actually remember that. The irony is, despite my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000 and the damages in other ways, I have actually fully remembered. That is like the biggest thing that I have full memories of, is how to do these historical and spiritual rubbings of markers in full detail. And that is the biggest irony of them all in other ways. So the next particular video will be where I show the individual pieces, the front and the back. Again, it does go into a very specific methodical process that it's not a game. It never has been. So while I understand some people might have been intrigued because of the mystery behind such, could have just asked instead of attempting to do that, because it's very, very dangerous. But hypothetically, if that occurred, well, I guess there'd be biblical prophecies coming to life now, wouldn't there be? I mean, there'd be the 10 plagues, where, a whole bunch of bugs all over the place. Oh wait, that was Idaho. And then there'd be a whole bunch of, fires. Oh wait, that was Montana and eastern Washington. Um, so on and so forth. So, tune into the next video so that way I can actually show you the first full process of my Medal of Honor art project. Oh, and here's a little tidbit, which it is a little bit late for some individuals because then that requires a ritual, in regards to if there were individuals that thought that they could replace certain pieces and switch it out. Then they have a few issues of their own that they'd have to contact me about in person. And and then if not, well, there's still ritual in that regard. Otherwise, you know, those who would know about that sort of stuff might want to be like, hey, here, let's calm certain things down, hypothetically, because, you know, I know that there are plenty of individuals who don't necessarily believe in religious and spiritual aspects. And the truth of the matter is that stuff is real. It is not fantasy. It is not fake. It is. And so, I mean, what more can I say? I've given many warnings. And so, you guys have a good one.